pastor. I've written a lot. I've even published my poems, but I've never spoken it aloud. So thank you for coming along this journey with me. Thank you. It's a hard one for me, which is why I'm reading from my phone. It's about tomorrow, a big day for me, a 10-year anniversary, actually. So, yeah, so stick with me, because we're going to go on this journey together. It's called Battle Cry. The irony was thick in the January era as he took every ounce of my free will, ripping through my skinny jeans with God written in purple ink across the seams. But rape is an atheist. It knows no God, it knows no hope. There is no forgiveness, only sacrifice as the girl I used to know, and there is no resurrection here. I died that day, so when the people who knew me best in this world were lost for words, looking at me with not a drop of recall on their face, it made sense. I am a stranger, left in the shell of a body ravaged by a boy incapable of empathy. It seems the only memory my rattled brain can hold is the feeling of cold hands, the sound of birds chirping, light flashing behind the trees, people close enough to hear in the distance but too far away to scream because it wouldn't make a difference. And 10 years later, I'm terrified of space, an endless void where sound cannot be heard, and it's too much like him. Too much like the shock I felt as my screams were apparently only in my head. My tears should have been enough, but if you're raped in the forest and no one is around to witness, did it really happen? At least that's how the detective saw it. I was 13 the first time I encountered cognitive dissonance as he picked up his bike, hands drenched in my blood, and smiled, asking if I wanted him to walk me home. I don't know what home looks like anymore. Maybe that's why when I feel like crawling out of my skin, I run to the nearest forest because it's the last place I saw myself. And I've been searching for her for years now. While he still lives down the street in our hometown, and the judge didn't seem to believe I would need a restraining order, so now I have to see him at our local grocery store. After all, he's a good kid, a record-setting swimmer with a promising future. He's reminded of this and evading conviction all in the same sentence after pleading guilt, just inches away from accountability. And no one offered me a single word sweet, just sent me home and back to the school that lined the crime scene, where I would start my freshman year as the girl who cried rape. Suicide encouragements pour out of my locker, whispers coat the halls almost as thick as my blood on his hands. Why did this happen to me? And now, on the eve of my death day, it's very literally now been a decade, and they say if it won't matter in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes on it, but it's been 10, and I still have PTSD, flinching in shock when light shines through the leaves. I still panic when cold hands find their place amongst intimacy, and he still got us scot-free. Do you see what I mean? I am a product of the system. I am the question mark at the end of the sentence. Well, what were you wearing? And I just can't stop crying. It's been 10 years and I'm still not over this lifetime sentence when all he got was 18 months probation and now apparently an engagement. I pray for her every single day. I pray to the God who had forsaken me. Why me? I scream every time a man wants to take what's mine. When will it finally be the last time? Why do people only listen to your pain when you put it in a rhyme? Now trauma resembles home. At least maybe another woman will know she's not alone. At least I finally reclaimed the voice I lost all those years ago. You don't get to have the last word. May you rot in a shallow grave as the world forgets your name. This is my story. I hope you choke on the blood that runs cold inside you. I hope you drown on the words of all the people you lied to. I hope you suffer for all eternity, a life sentence for every drop of my blood that fell to your feet. I am tired of using my voice to curse you, so instead I'll speak life into survivors like me. May my words crush you with failure for not being able to silence me and be able to speak from the millions still trying to find their own voice. I hear you, even in the absence of words. I will fight for you until I can no longer breathe. 10 years later, and I finally know who I'm meant to be.